we'll move into consent, please.
For consent, all items are considered routine or implement an earlier council action and may be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion unless requested.
Now we have some cards on consent.
We do. The first speaker for item 5H is Paul Albritton.
We'll try it the second time. Paul Albritton, outside counsel for Verizon Wireless. Good evening. Mayor Medina, members of the council, thank you for hearing this for a brief moment. As you know, we were at the Verizon Wireless hearing a couple weeks ago when our facility was denied, and the resolution is up tonight as item 5H. We were a little surprised at Verizon Wireless that the site was denied due to aesthetics. We explained at the time that the height of our antenna was based on Geo 95 and the requirement that the antenna be 7 feet above power lines. But we, in fact, had been working for nearly a year with staff on different designs to try and come up with something that would be acceptable. It was acceptable. It was recommended by staff, and it was also recommended by the Planning Commission. And so we didn't present other designs that were to you because we thought that they were approved and that we were headed towards that approval. But I wanted to make sure that you knew that there are other designs available, and particularly that address the resolution where it says that we said that we would prefer to have antennas between 28 and 35 feet. And for that, I'd like to turn your attention to the materials that we sent to you by email, and I think are in front of you in the dais, and essentially quickly go through three designs that we would like you to know are available to address aesthetic concerns. The first takes the 4-foot antenna and reduces it to 2 feet. It's still the same telephone pole, but reduces the overall height to 47 feet. We've also introduced a new radio that just became available this month. It's very small. It's 18 inches by 13 inches by 11 inches, about half a foot shorter than the previous radio, and it's dual frequency, so we're able to actually put in one radio instead of two.
I'm sorry, sir, if you could just pause for a minute.
Just one
I'd like
second.
to
Hold that thought.
yield to
yes.
City Attorney.
Hold that thought. So if the City Council is interested in approving or enacting on the rest of the items on the consent calendar, they can do that and then pull this one for separate discussion.
So we'd be requesting that it be pulled. I can
So if you're coming up, let's request, if you're asking for an item to be pulled from consent, what that item is, i.e. is it A, B, C, D, E, and then we can take them, approve the rest, and then go back to those. Okay?
So I'm done for now. Right.
Okay, so 7H is what you're asking about. I mean 5H. Used to be 7 in the old days. Under consent H. Was there anybody else that wanted to discuss or pull? Pull, meaning it will be discussed separate from consent. Any other speaker cards that would identify? I'm sorry, Mr. Dean. Did you, Marty?
Pulling 5E.
5E. Any other items from council? Okay, we've been requested to pull E and H. Is there a motion and action on the rest?
Move to approve
the remainder.
Second.
Melissa, I'll let you figure out who was who. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Okay, now we're going to go to the first item, which is E. Melissa, if you could read that, and then Mr. Medina.
Item 5E, approve City of San Bruno response letter to the San Mateo County Civil Grand Jury Report titled Soaring City Pension Costs, Time for Hard Choices.
Yes, so the reason why I pulled this is because I'm not sure if everybody knows the severity of this problem that's going to be coming up, and that's dealing with our pension costs. So it was on consent. I know most people don't spend too much time looking at our agendas, but we're going to have to spend a large amount of time to try to figure this out. The costs are going up substantially. In the next 7 years, I believe our pension costs are going to double. And I believe in this report, it calls out for a number of different things that cities can do. But probably one of the biggest things is to make some very difficult choices. You either increase your revenues or you cut back on your costs. There's other things that are possible that are detailed in this report. And if I did contact our city manager and to let him know that I was pulling this, and I have a better understanding that there are going to be more discussions on how we intend to take care of this problem. But knowing the serious nature of the cost that this is going to take is something that I want the public to be aware of, so that when we come and start talking about it months from now, you're going to remember that we did bring this up at this point. So that's the reason why I wanted to bring this up.
Motion, action on the item, Mark? To approve?
Sure.
Go ahead and make the motion.
Make the motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made and seconded to approve item E under consent. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. The next item that was asked is item H. Melissa?
Item 5H, adopt resolution granting an appeal of the Planning Commission's decision to approve a conditional use permit, UP 17-025, for installation of a new wireless antenna on an existing utility pole located at 123 Elm Avenue.
Thank you. And obviously, the gentleman did start. And we have how many speakers on this item that you believe?
We have 7 other speaker cards.
So we've had 2 hearings on this. So for those speakers, you'll have 2 minutes. And we'll begin. Please call a few of them up so we can keep the rotation moving.
Eleni Tripsa.
Mr. Albert,
One moment.
what do we, Mr. Albert, finish? It's going to go 2 minutes.
Sir, wait to be called, please, by the city clerk. Thank you.
Okay, so after conferring with the city attorney, we'll allow Mr. Alberton to finish his statements. He still has some time left.
Thank you.
My apologies that the protocol has me coming up to the podium 3 times. Paul Albritton, outside counsel for Verizon, was really nearly concluded with my remarks. We've provided you with 3 alternate designs. The second design has a sidearm antenna. Under GO95, the antenna has to be mounted 2 feet away from the utility pole, but you'll see it doesn't increase the height of the utility pole at all. It uses exactly the same utility pole and mounts the antenna to the side. Again, this would be with the smaller 13 by 11 single radio unit. And then finally, I wanted to show you a design that has been approved by the city of Napa, and that's the third design. And that's a standalone pole all by itself, a single slim pole with an antenna on top. You'd expressed an interest in possibly that kind of design. This is at a slightly different location, 148 Elm, because it's not where an existing utility pole would be. So we would ask that you consider these designs. I don't expect you to approve one of these designs tonight, but we think Verizon Wireless very much wants to provide service to San Bruno, and we'd like to continue the dialogue either in front of you or back before the Planning Commission. And I very much thank you for your time this evening, and sorry for the repetitive appearances.
That's fine. Thank you. And just for the speakers, the city clerk, once you're up there, there are lights. Once it gets to yellow, you have, 30 seconds? And then once it goes red, I am going to, at this point, last time I was trying to be gracious, but I am going to be consistent. I'm going to ask you to stop. Go ahead, Melissa.
Eleni Tripsa.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Eleni Tripsa. I reside on 152 Acacia Avenue. I was coming here to say thank you today, but I gather that we need to have a further discussion since there may be a resubmittal. I want the appeal to be ratified, and I don't believe that it will be sufficient just allowing Verizon to change its thought and just modify it a little bit in terms of the height. There's more at stake here because the 5G actually going forward, it's going to be working on a 60 gigahertz, and that's an oxygen-based molecule, and that will destroy our trees, and we will be depleting of the oxygen. Our current Wi-Fi is on a 2.4 gigahertz, so we are talking exponentially, and it's water-based, much, much more dangerous going into the oxygen molecule that it's 60 gigahertz. So I object in taking a view and looking in a different design, because here we're talking more about just the design, we're talking about the trees, we're talking about more than just the aesthetics. We are objecting, so I'm not going to utilize all my time, but I really need for all of you to stay to our course and understand that it's more than just the height here and aesthetics. We're talking about more our trees, because it's going to go on oxygen molecule, not the water that is now. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Melissa, can you please call up a couple folks so we can keep the line, keep it going?
Leslie Imlay, followed by Rhonda Sims.
May I begin, Mayor Medina and council members, for being so understanding of our discussions on the 25th of September. We do not want these units, any of the kind of units in our neighborhoods. And we are in keeping with a great number of other cities, as well as even coming on board lately is Seattle, Oregon, Portland, Oregon, New York City. Everybody is objecting to this, and it's been approved. And if you want to look at an alternative location outside of our little neighborhoods, that would be, we welcome progress, but not in our neighborhoods. And as far as Elm Street is concerned, it is the narrowest street of all the streets in our neighborhood. And the sidewalk out in front of 1, 2, 3, in fact, all up and down that street, is only about 48 inches. So if you put anything into the easement, a box or another extension that's closer to the ground level or closer to eye level, it's only going to intrude into our sidewalks and our traffic patterns. We made ourselves very clear. You were very generous to hear us out and very generous to vote that these not be placed in our neighborhoods. And we hope that you'll continue to hold ground and stay as the steady course. And that's what all of the over 150 to 200 people wanted you to do last time we were here with you on the 25th. So I want to thank you in advance.
Thank you. Next, please.
Good evening, Mayor and members of the council. My name is Rhonda, and I also want the decision to stay, to say no. An additional design doesn't change the original decision to say no. The addition of an optional pole independent of an existing pole just expands the footprint, which is against what our original decision was. And I feel that as a united force, as a united neighborhood, that San Bruno is in a position to say no. And I agree with the previous speaker. The option to go into another area outside of our neighborhoods, I'm ready to review that and see the details, but I do not want the towers over my head while I'm sleeping at my home. Thank you.
Stacy Tolentino, followed by Jesus Diaz.
Good evening, Mayor Medina and City Council members. I want to personally thank each of you for voting to repeal the cell tower installation on Elm Street at the September 25th City Council meeting. I also wanted to remind all of you that none of the San Bruno citizens in attendance at that meeting, as well as many others not in attendance that evening, have changed their minds. We do not want cell towers on Elm Street or in any residential neighborhoods in San Bruno. It's come to my awareness today that Verizon is still trying to push for cell towers in our San Bruno neighborhoods, even after all of you made it clear that you were against the cell towers as well. Please tell Verizon that no means no. Don't be swayed by their proposals and ideas. We San Bruno citizens are relying on you, our mayor and city council members, to have transparency, honesty, and integrity. And by that, I mean we're relying on our elected officials to act on our best interests. You gave us your word that there would be no cell towers on Elm, so be honest. Stick to your decision. Do the right thing when no one is looking. That's called integrity. Don't have a change of heart based on new proposals that Verizon may be giving you. Do the right thing and say no to cell towers in San Bruno neighborhoods. Thank you.
Thank you.
Jesus Diaz, followed by Zidane Millie.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council. My name is Jesus Diaz. I'm a grandpa. I have 6 young grandchildren from 1 year old to 9. And I just want to thank you for your decision on 9/25 when we turned down Verizon. As you know, last time I spoke, I've been with the telecommunication company for 33 years. And so I know a little bit about what goes on inside. And it's not always they're not always straight and narrow and honest. So, beware of what they're trying to pull on you. As I mentioned my last time I spoke, I came down with an unknown mass in the middle of my head, and I had an operation, I believe it was in 2006. Thank God it wasn't malignant. That's why I'm still here talking with you. But I contributed to perhaps all the cell towers I went on and cell sites I put up and worked in server rooms. And so I was around a lot of radiation frequencies, EMF, and there's not enough guidance, there's not enough tests done yet to determine if this new technology is really safe for us as human beings. So please stick by your guns. And you turn down Verizon, continue doing that until we are made aware of true testing, because whoever controls the data controls the results. So I just want to thank everyone in San Bruno for sticking up. We're a small town, but we're a powerful giant in terms of heart. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next speaker,
Zidane
please.
Millie, followed by Julia Larson.
Okay, so hi, I'm Zidane Millie. I'm a senior at Cappuccino High School, and then this is
Zachary Millie, and I'm 8 years old.
Okay, so based on your decision last meeting in which you denied Verizon from coming into San Bruno with these cell towers, I'd like to say thank you for supporting San Bruno and its citizens. It means a lot, and it shows how much you truly care about a community. I hope you follow through with your decision and continue to deny Verizon. Taking back your decision now just shows your lack of strength compared to Verizon, and you can't allow this to happen. We don't want these cell towers, whether it's a different color, different length, different width, period. We don't want cell towers. Thank you.
And I don't care if it's pink, blue, or purple. Please don't put them.
Thank you both. Next speaker, please.
Julia Larson.
Thank you very much for inviting us to this meeting this evening, and thank you so much for your September 25th decision backing those people in San Bruno who live and work and spend their lives here. It's very important that we know how important it is to have a council that we can come and speak to and exchange information with, and they will hear us. So I thank you for your original decision. I have to say that I don't even understand why Verizon has come here this evening. You gentlemen and ladies made it perfectly clear as to where things stood. Now, yes, perhaps they thought a change in design would make a difference, as that was indicated. However, location is what's at stake here. We do not question the fact that these may be needed in the city, not in the neighborhoods, regardless of appearance. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, That's the speaker cards. So it'll be coming back to council. Just for clarification, this is specifically in regards to 123 Elm. So I don't want misgivings that this is about the whole city. This is in regards to the appeal that was submitted. I do want to say that I received, I'll speak for myself, an email at 11 something today in regards to some that was discussed here. And to me, honestly, I don't know that it changes my mind or not. I know staff doesn't have adequate time in which to go over this and look at this. I'm surprised with that late hour that you folks were able to get here so quickly. So in my mind, what we have before us is a resolution to grant the appeal of the Planning Commission's decision. So what is the council's action?
Through the chair.
Mark, please.
So I agree. Based on the information that we were provided, on the application that was provided, I will continue with supporting the appeal. This does give us an interesting future. The legal basis for denying the application, or for approving the appeal, was the aesthetics. And that's what we could legally do. I can look every single one in this room in the eye and say, honestly, I don't know about the health effects. I'm concerned about them, but I cannot use the health effects as part of my decision. Now, I'm going to ask our city attorney to pretty much confirm that, because that has been the ongoing thing that we are specifically not allowed to use in our decision. City attorney, can you?
That's correct.
Right. So what we have in front of us, I've spoken enough about it. I hear our colleagues about it. Verizon could go ahead and turn another application in. They probably will. And we'll deal with that when we get it. So those are my comments.
Any further comments or action by council in regards to the last item on consent? Is there a motion to approve or not?
Motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion made and second to approve on consent item H. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you.